Imagine discovering a city that existed 4,500 years ago, but somehow had indoor bathrooms, underground sewage systems, and perfectly planned streets. Sounds like a modern city, right? But this wasn't built yesterday. It was built in the ancient city of Mohenjo-daro, deep inside the mysterious Indus Valley civilization. And the strangest part? We still don't fully understand how they did it, or why the city suddenly disappeared. Let's explore one of the most advanced ancient cities ever discovered. Okay, so here's the first thing that surprised researchers. Most ancient cities didn't really follow a plan. People built houses wherever they wanted, streets formed naturally, and the whole place looked a bit chaotic. But not this city. In Mohenjo-daro, the streets run almost perfectly north to south and east to west. Like someone took a ruler and drew the whole thing first. Blocks of houses, neat intersections, organized neighborhoods. If you showed the map of the city to someone without telling them the age, they might guess it was built a few hundred years ago. Now here's a funny thought. Picture two ancient planners standing there thousands of years ago. One says, "Alright, let's keep the streets straight so people don't get lost." The other replies, "And maybe leave space for drains too, trust me, future archaeologists will appreciate it." And speaking of drains, this is where things get really interesting. Wait. Ancient people had bathrooms? So imagine walking into one of the houses in Mohenjo-daro. You might expect a small room with maybe a fire pit. But then you notice something unusual. A raised brick platform. A water channel. And a drain leading outside the house. Which makes you pause and go, "Wait, is this a bathroom?" Yes. Many homes had private bathing areas. Now think about that. Some cities in the world didn't have proper indoor sanitation until the 19th century. But people living in the Indus Valley were already building homes with drainage systems thousands of years earlier. And that leads to an even bigger discovery hiding under the streets. Now imagine you're an archaeologist digging through the ruins. You clear away some bricks, and suddenly notice a narrow channel under the street. At first you think, maybe it's just a small water path. But then you follow it. And it keeps going. And going. Turns out, beneath the streets of Mohenjo-daro was a citywide drainage system. Covered brick drains carried wastewater away from homes. Some even had inspection openings so they could be cleaned. Let that sink in for a moment. Someone, thousands of years ago, thought about maintenance access for a sewer system. Honestly, whoever designed that system was thinking way ahead. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you hear about their water supply. Now normally, ancient cities depended on rivers. People walked down with containers, filled them with water, and carried them back home. But in this city? Wells were everywhere. Archaeologists have found hundreds of wells throughout Mohenjo-daro. Some houses even had their own private wells. Imagine the conversation back then. "Hey, where do you get your water?" "Oh, just from the well in my courtyard." Pretty convenient, right? But there was one structure in the city that made researchers stop and stare for a completely different reason. Right in the center of the city stood one of its most famous buildings. The Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. At first glance, it looks like a large pool. But this wasn't for swimming competitions or relaxing afternoons. Most historians believe it was used for ritual or ceremonial bathing. The pool was carefully built with waterproof bricks and sealed with bitumen, making it one of the earliest waterproof structures in history. And again, it had a system to fill it with fresh water and drain it when needed. You almost want to turn to someone standing next to you and say, "Okay, who were these engineers, and how did they figure all this out so early?" Which brings us to another strange mystery about this city. A powerful city. But no kings? Here's something archaeologists didn't expect. In many ancient civilizations you find huge palaces, giant statues of kings, or monuments celebrating rulers. But in Mohenjo-daro, those things are mostly missing. No massive royal palace. No giant king statues. Instead, what stands out most is the city planning itself, which makes some historians wonder. Maybe this society focused less on powerful rulers and more on community organization. Of course, that's still debated. But just when this civilization seemed to be thriving, something unexpected happened. The city that slowly went silent. Around 1900 BCE, the great cities of the Indus Valley began to decline. Streets that were once busy slowly became quiet. Homes were abandoned. And the reason? Well, that's still a mystery. Some researchers believe the Indus River may have changed its course. Others think flooding or long droughts made life difficult. But no single explanation tells the full story. And maybe that's why the ruins of Mohenjo-daro still feel so mysterious today. So the next time someone says ancient cities were primitive, you might want to bring up this one. A city with organized streets, indoor bathrooms, underground drainage systems, and hundreds of wells. All built more than 4,000 years ago. Which honestly makes you wonder, what other advanced ideas might have existed in the ancient world that we still haven't discovered yet?